Hey guys, what's up? In case your first time tuning into here, just to mention again, I'm Wing Yu and this is Wing Yu Creation Channel. So, do you ever think of create your own set of Lego building instruction on your own creations? So in this video, I will show you how you can create your own building instruction by using the Bricklink Studio 2.0 software. So by end of this video, you will able to create your own Lego building instruction on your own MOC. So without any further delay, let's dive into it. So in this video, I will assume you already installed the Studio 2.0 software in your own PC and you also have some basic skill and knowledge to create some model by using this software. Just in case you are still new and don't have any knowledge to create some model on this software, perhaps you can watch back my previous video, the introductions video on how you can create a simple model by using this software. So I will also post up a link on that previous video on the description below. So as far as I know, basically you have two ways to create your own instruction in this Studio 2.0 software. So the first one is when you open up your Studio new model, you can see a blank viewport over here. So at the right hand side, you can see a step list over here. So this is the first way you can do to create your own creations. So for instance, right now I try to create something here. I will try to use a plate. Let's say I use a 2x3 plate. I create this and then I will decide my next step. Let's say I add a step, which means this is the step number 2. Then I put a brick on top of it, a round brick. Yep. Let's say I put at the 4 corner. Okay. And then I create the third step, which is step number 3. I try to put a brick at the center. Okay, let's say I turn over here. Okay, maybe I put another one too. And then I create step number 4. Let's say I put something different, which is the slope here. Okay, so let's say now this is the creations that you make of, and then you created this 4 step. So by using this way, which means that you are very clear what you are going to build and what is the steps that you are going to use to build these creations. So I would say if you are trying to build something new or something from scratch, this is not a good approach unless you already have something in mind, or let's say you already have something like this on hand. Then you want to create the instruction on these creations. Then you can start it off with a blank model and try to create step by step by using this way. Okay, so let's say now this is your final creations and you have 4 steps to make this up. So what you do next is you go to this. You can see a little instructions icon over here. You click on it. This is actually the instruction maker. So once you open up the instruction maker, this is what you can see. So here you can see there's 2 tabs at the top. One is the step editor, another one is the page design. So in the step editor, basically this is the page for you to see what is the step that you already created on your model previously. And then you can rotate and see clearly whether it's the steps you created, is it correct or not. So you can notice that when you select this current step, let's say step number 2, those bricks that are using in this current step is in the solid color, whereby the bricks that you use or you already built on the previous step is in the transparent color. Just in case that this function is not turned on your side, what you need to do is you can go to the specs over here, the icon here. When you click off, then you can see that the transparent effect is off. Instead, it will highlight it in the red box like what you see here. So there's 2 ways for you to visual what is the current bricks that you use for current steps. So for me, I would like to use the previous or the default setting, which is this one, the transparent one. So this is a very clear way for us to see what is the exact bricks that we are using for current steps. So another way to see what is the bricks is included in this step, you can see at the bottom side here. So it will list out the bricks that you are using for these current steps. So for instance, for step number 3, you can see the 1 times 2 bricks is over here on these steps. Okay, so let's say now you make some mistakes. Okay, let's say this cheese slope not supposed to be step number 4. So what you can do, you can always go back to this model building viewport, and you can drag and move the bricks that you want to the previous steps or wherever you want. So let's say this slope was supposed to belong to step number 3. Okay, step number 3. Then you go back to the instruction maker, you will have immediately effect updated over here. So you can see that this cheese slope from previous step number 4 now go to step number 3. Okay. Okay, actually you can also edit the steps or the bricks allocations in the step editor here. But I noticed that let's say just now take an example, this cheese slope is not supposed to be this step, but it's supposed to be this step. So what I can do is I click on here, move to new step before. But what is this actually mean is it create another step on this particular bricks itself. Meaning to say that just now step number 3 is without the cheese slope. Then step number 4, you can see it's just the cheese slope itself. Instead of this cheese slope is moved from step number 4 to step number 3. Okay, so you can see that it create additional step over here. Instead of it move the step from instead of moving the bricks from step number 4 to step number 3. So okay, now we have to do again is I move to step number 4 and then I delete the step number 5. So this is supposed to be what we want. So just to bear in mind, this is not the final instruction appearance that you will see. So what you're able to see is actually in the page design. You click on the page design here. This is the final layout or the appearance that you will see in your instruction. So over the right hand side, the toolbar here, you can see there's 2 tabs on top here. One is the format and one is the global style. So the format means that this under the format setting is just applied to the page that you are selected. So you can select more than one page. For instance, right now I click and hold my control button and I selected these 2 pages. Sorry, I click and hold my shift button and it selected these 2 pages. So meaning to say that what I'm changing here is actually just impacting these 2 pages. So I just undo. So for instance, what you want to apply is the entire instruction design or appearance. What you can do is you go to the global style here. You change, let's say we change the background color. So for instance, we change to the Tiffany blue. So immediately you can see that all the pages that you are created immediately applied for this color. So you can go to format here, you see, okay, now this is the color I want. So what you can change is that a number of things you can play around. First, you can switch on and off the number steps. I think this is something critical. You shouldn't be turn this off. And you can also change the type, the font type, and also the whether the size and the color of the font as well. So which means that now I don't like the font to black, I can change to red instead. Okay, so it looks like this now. Okay, another thing is the part list. This part list means that this little box here. So these settings is basically applies to this little box we so-called the part list box. So for instance, you want to change the background color of this particular box. So you can do it over here, you can change it. So now it apply it at all the pages here. Okay, so now let's say the color and the appearance you are happy with it. So what the next thing you can do is to alter the size of the build itself. So when you click on this one, you can actually to enlarge it. So or you can move it around. So when I click is active, then you can move this around. Okay, so you can change the step view. So basically you can flip it or you rotate it. You can flip it around and then you cancel. Then it will go back to the original settings. Or if you want to change the setting, let's say now this step. Let's say I would like to rotate to the bottom, so I change the step view, I flip it, and then I rotate it to where I want, and then if this is what I want, I can just click over here and then it will apply it. If you say this is something mistakes, then you can cancel the step view, it will go to the default step view. Okay, so yeah, this is a pretty handy way to deal with it. So you can also try a lot of different settings and play around all the little functions here. Something like you can change the row column, the page layout. Let's say, for instance, instead of 1 step per page, you can change to 2 step applied to the followings. So meaning to say that if this apply to the followings, this layout will apply to the entire instruction, or you can just apply to this particular page you selected. Let's say I just selected this page, I apply, so it will become a 2-step layout on this particular page, whereby the remaining pages, it will remain to 1 column or 1 step per page. Okay, so if let's say, okay, this is not I want, or you can just streamline to this. Okay, then instead of 4 pages, you can reduce to 2 pages, for instance. Then you can always remove or relocate the model that you want to the particular location that you want, because sometimes you will like to make or put your own watermark at the bottom and you don't want this model to be blocked, then you can just move this around very easily. So you can also move this around. Okay, so this is the first way that I would like to introduce to you. So now I will show you the second way to create your own instruction by using the Studio 2.0 software. So most of the time when we create our MOC, we didn't think ahead that how this MOC will turn into the instruction, and also what is the steps that we need to use to create these creations. Because during the building process, some of the time we will change the design here and there a little bit. Of course, we didn't take care of the actual steps to build the final versions of our creations. So if you fall into that situation, then I think this second way or second approach is more appropriate for you. So let for instance, we use this train as an example. Just in case you don't know how to make this train MOC, you can always go back to my previous video, which I show you step by step how you can create this MOC. So I will put up the link at the description below. So, or another way, you can actually just build up something, or you already have something, you can also go along with me by using your own model. So okay, you can see when we created this train, we didn't take care of the steps previously. So which means that in this train is actually all jeopardized into 1 step. From this step list, you can see that it's just 1 step. So when we turn into the instruction maker, okay, proceed, then you can see that everything is jumbled into 1 step. So what you can do is actually you can follow the first approach, which means that you create this MOC again from scratch, or you can use this way. So what you need to do with this second approach is that you first select the very few breaks for your very first steps. So meaning to say that, let's say I took this plate as my first step, or maybe included this 2 times 2 plate as well. So I selected these 3 elements as my first step. So what I do is I create a new step before over here. So you can see that the software will create another steps before these steps, which is the final which is supposed to be the final steps here. So here you can see that this 3 element is selected for this page, for these steps. So on the step number 2, you see that those already transparent, which means that it already appear on the previous steps, like I mentioned to you before. So now we try to work on the second steps. So I try to select this and this as my second step. So again, what I'm doing here is I click on this step before. So you can see step number 1 is this, then step number 2 is this, and then this is step number 3. So you can follow this way to so-called backdate back your own creations to create these instructions. So right now I try to continue to work on. I create this, I select this, this and this, okay, and maybe this also as my third steps. Click on here, I cross check again. Okay, this step, okay, this is good, and then I move on to the following steps. So I select this, the wheelbase, the other side of the wheelbase, and then I create the step before. So now you can see I slowly building up my steps from there. Okay, so I further move on. I try to select this and this, this and this. Okay, so you don't have to follow exactly like what I did. You can just play around with this concept, so you will know that whether is it working or how good is this. Okay, and then next one, I would like to select these two sides, and maybe I selected the L bracket as well as my step, so I click step before. Then I further move on to the so-called the modify break. Selected this and this, and then also include the round plate. Okay, let's say all this. Then I check again. Okay, looks good, and then I will build this one again, and so on. So I will keep building this until the end. So let's say now I create this, and then this, and then this submodel one steps, and then this and this the step before, and then I left this one. Okay, I still left this one. I create this one, and I create this one, and then I create this one. Yup. Okay, this is not supposed to be there. This should be the last step. Okay, yup. So now it's done. So let's review again. So we go back to step number 1. This is number 1. Then step number 2. Okay, this 2, number 3, number 4. So what I'm doing here is I will make sure that the step before this is actually happens before the current steps. So meaning to say that your brakes or your plate is not dangling around in the air. Okay, so I make sure that everything is built accordingly, step by step, and it making sense, so that people can build so that people will build this one more appropriately or more correctly. So the steps. Okay. Then this one and the last step also is done. So when you go to the page design, is similar to what I showed you before. So just now we created about 16 or 17 steps, so you can see everything is shown here. And okay, so what I would like to show you additionally is that, so let's say now step number 2 or even step number 3, you're building something at the bottom and it's not appeared so clearly to the viewers. So what you can do is you can select this, you click on it, you can change the view, you can change the step view. What you can do is you can flip this one around, or you can rotate it. So let's say now I would like to flip this one. So let's say I flip to here. Okay, so now this is done. So something that I'm not sure is that why is this only applies to these 2 steps and not this. Maybe the software, it will recognize that, okay, these 2 steps you have to flip it this way so that you can see the bottom, and then this one you doesn't need to. So if let's say the software accidentally recognize the step view or the flipping view for you, you can always reverse back. Meaning to say that if step 3 you would like to flip it, and then step 4 you would like to reverse back to the original locations, what you can do is you go to step 4, you select this, and then you change the step view again, and then you flip it back. So you will go back to the original one. So you can see step number 2 is like this, number 3 it flipped it, and then number 4 it flipped back again. So of course, when you are flipping the model during your instruction, you have to let your readers know. So what you can do is you can always insert an icon here. So you can click on the insert button, and then you can make use of this flip icon. So on top of that, you can also use the arrow icon, and also you can create some text or some description that you would like to written on your instruction over here. So let's say you want to say hello, then okay, this text will appear over here. And then now I would like to insert the flip icon. I can always place it around, and also I will enlarge it, so just in case people miss it. So if let's say you don't want this text, you can right click and then you can just remove it. So you can also insert some images and also some guide. Let's say this is 1-to-1 or so on. Okay, or some color guide. I think this one at the end I will show you again. I think another one is the arrow things. Yeah, you can just point to this to show where is the exact bricks that you use or you build for these steps. So I think this is commonly that we see in the LEGO official instructions. So this function is also included in this instruction makers. So over here, what we're supposed to do is actually we will ask the reader to flip it back as well. So from here you will flip it and then you flip it back again and you go to the norm. Okay, so let's say now everything is clear. Let's say this one you would like to remain there, and this is the sub model. Okay, you can go on and so on. So at the very last page, you would like to increase the BOM or the bill of material of these entire creations. You can also insert here. You can insert and create the bill of material. Okay, sorry, I undo it. I should delete it. I should create a new page, and in this new page I only insert the bill of materials. So it will list out all the bills of materials. So you can see that in this one pager is not enough to fit in all the bricks. It will create another one. Okay, when you select this bill of material, you can also play around how will this display. It need to be sort by row, or it to be sort by column, or is color ascending or color descending, or part size, or so on. So you can play around the functions here. So you can see this not supposed to be here, so I can drag and drop. I can select this and drag and drop over here. Okay, and my mouse is not working. Okay, sorry, I think just now I jeopardized a bit on the bill of material. So I try to do again. I insert, I create a bill of material, and it show up over here. So like I mentioned before, you can have some certain settings control on this bill of material, such as you can sort by row or sort by column, and how in this order you would like to arrange by, instead of by part or by color, ascending or descending, and so on. And you can see that you can change the font type and also the font size as well. Okay, so lastly, once you are fine with your instruction, what you need to do, or this is a very important step, is you need to export this. So you can always click on this export. You can export all pages or just selected pages. So you can do it in the PDF format, or you can do it in the PNG format, and you can also adjust the size. So meaning to say that this image will be 4 times bigger than the actual one. So what I always did is I always export in the PNG and also in the size number 1, because I would like to add some logos or some introduction page in this instruction before this instruction starts. So if you think that is not necessary, you can always export it in the PDF, and you can select where is the destination that you would like to put in, and then you can just save, and then you can just export, and you're done. So right now we try to create this, export it, and see how it looks like. Okay, so now assume this export already done. So this is how it looks like when you exported the PDF instruction. So you can see this is step number 2 or page number 2, 3, and so on. So it's pretty nice and neat, correct? Yeah. So basically this is how the output looks like when you export it to the PDF. And it will be the same as well if you export it in the PNG format. But you have to do some editings in order to turn into the PDF format. Okay, so that's all for this instruction makings video. Hope you're able to learn up this instructions making skill by using the Studio 2.0 software, and hope you can create your own set of instructions for your MOC in the futures. So if you do like and enjoy this video, hope you can click the like button below and also subscribe to this channel for future sharing. So right now it's the end, and see you on the next video.